Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, so there are updates that came up for international students looking to come to Canada to study. So Canada is a major travel destination for international students. A lot of benefits come with, coming to Canada to study. People aim at getting postgraduate work permits. People aim at getting spousal work permit for their spouse. They aim, like, after school you're eligible to get postgraduate work permit for up to 3 years. So you can get your spouse to come along with you, and get your whole family members come. So just one person studying, and based on one person studying, the whole family can move to Canada. And then there is pathway of getting permanent residency after school. Also, people who do study here have more chances of getting provincial nomination. So you see, there are a lot of things. Apart from Canada having the best of schools in the world, very good schools, good country, with chances of getting permanent residency and all that. So it has made a lot of people to choose Canada to be the place to go, to do their study or for their relocation plans. And study seems to be like an easier way to actually move to Canada. It may cost financially, but at least it's a clear pathway that people can use and come to Canada. The express entry system still works. I've made some videos about that, but it just seems like study permit is like, something very clear for someone to just use and come to Canada with their whole family. Okay, but a lot has been happening in that sector, in the area of international students. So I'm making this video to clarify some of the updates that have come this January, February 2024. There are some updates, so everybody that wants to study in Canada should watch this video. If you know anyone that wants to study in Canada, share this video with them. Updates came out and there has been information here and there, and people are not so clear on what to meet. So I took my time to read about it and then be clear on some things. I've seen the common questions that people ask about timeline. When does it take effect? Is my college still, am I still able to get postgraduate work permit after school? Can I still get my spouse to come over here in Canada? Is my program still eligible? Do I need provincial attestation letter? So these were the things that came up in this new announcement. Am I caught up by the rule? Am I caught up by this announcement? I already applied for my study permit, or I'm already here on study permit and I need to get postgraduate work permit. Is this announcement affecting me? Am I covered? Am I caught up? So there are a lot of questions and some people panic and all that. So I'm here to bring clarification. Just sit down and just walk with me. I'm going to try to explain some things to us in a way that we all get it. So there is no need for panic. There may be some things that are not nice, but there are some loopholes, some good things that are coming out from this announcement. So we had the one that happened like last year. Hey, the proof of fund, proof of fund needed to study in Canada. So apart from your first year tuition and your travel costs, there is this amount of money required to show proof of fund. It used to be 10,000 Canadian dollar before for one person, and then $4,000 additionally for your family member, and then like 3,000 for each other accompanying family member. But it radically changed, and the announcement was made late last year. It took effect January 1, 2024. The proof of fund, apart from your tuition cost and first day tuition cost, is now $20,635. So that's more than times two of what was required before, because they say that inflation, that some people come with that proof of fund and they come in and realize that it's not sustainable. So that one came. Then January 22, a sudden announcement that some people were not expecting to hear, is a cap. cap on the number of international students. So there is now a limit, and it's going to last for 2 years. So the cap is about 360,000 for the year 2024. So in 2025, they said that they will also come up with another cap for that. So that's a lot. And it's said to be about a 35% decrease from just 2023. So there has been surge of international students coming into Canada. Colleges have been, the major place for that. Colleges, will come in and just study and get their work permits after school. And it's international students that is providing a lot of funding for schools. The colleges and universities here in Canada now depend highly on international students. So this cap has effect also on the institutions here. It's not affecting only you that wants to come to Canada to study. It's also affecting the institutions here, because the average international student, it was said to pay like $36,000 in tuition, while a domestic student pays as little as 6,000 something. So this cap is affecting everyone. It trended on different platforms with some misinformation as well, and some things that were not clear. So this cap is now in place, 360,000. So they want to process about 600,000 applications and grants about 360,000 study permits. So for clarification purpose, the cap does not apply to secondary programs. It applies to graduate programs indeed, but it doesn't apply to master's degree, to doctoral degrees. It does not affect them at all. So take note of that cap. It's now in place. Another thing that will now be in place is what is known as provincial attestation letter. So before now, you needed a letter of acceptance from your institution. And the policy also came in place that you needed to show, your institution needed to verify that letter of acceptance directly to IRCC. So they wanted to reduce incidents of fraud that was already taking place in the system. So now we are not dealing with only that letter of acceptance. There is now requirement for provincial attestation letter. It has to accompany every application for study permits now. And it's important to note that the requirement for provincial attestation letter does not apply to you if you already applied for study permit before January 22, 2024. If you already applied for 8:30 a.m. January 22, 2024, you don't need provincial attestation letter. So don't bother about it. If you're here for master's degree, for a doctoral program, you don't need provincial attestation letter. If you're here, if you're coming for visitors, if you're coming as a visiting student or exchange program, you don't need provincial attestation letter. If you're already studying here in Canada, you already have a study permit, you're already here in Canada, and maybe you want to get another study permit or you want to extend, you don't need to anymore. Family members also don't need anymore. As long as they're already here in Canada, they won't need provincial attestation letter because their matter has already been decided, so they don't come into this cap and they don't need to provide provincial attestation letter. So nothing to worry about in that regard. Another update in this is about postgraduate work permits eligibility. So eligibility for postgraduate work permit. Before now, you needed to study in a designated learning institution. Once you get that, you study in such program about 8 months minimum, you'll be eligible for postgraduate work permit. So what did Canada do now? So they are removing the eligibility for everybody that wants to study in a public-private partnership arrangement. There is this arrangement where it's a public institution that give you admission, but you are sent to a private college that has an arrangement, a curriculum licensing arrangement with the public institution. So you're able to go to that private college and study. So public institutions were taking much more than they could actually handle, but they were able to still get postgraduate work permits after studying in such programs, in such arrangements. So now Canada is saying no more postgraduate work permits for people who studied in such arrangements. So the idea in Canada's mind, and they even said that in clarification, is that if they ban postgraduate work permits, if they say no more for people who studied in such arrangement, then there'll be a drop in the number of people that are admitting with such arrangements. So make sure when you are applying, you are dealing with your agent, you are doing it yourself. Please make sure you are coming to a public institution. Be sure about that. Be sure about that you are coming to study in a public institution directly so that you can get postgraduate work permit. So you can still get postgraduate work permit if you are studying in a college, a postgraduate program. As long as you got the study permit, you are still eligible for postgraduate work permit. It's only if you are in such licensing arrangement, such organization where you're studying in a private college, but it's a public institution that give you admission. So you are still eligible. If you are studying in a college, you are doing a college program in a public institution, you are still eligible for postgraduate work permit. I'm repeating that so that it is very clear to you. You are still eligible. Okay, but clarification came out. So some people are already studying in such arrangements and they panic. Is this affecting me? Okay, I know I was admitted by a public institution, but still, is a private college that I'm actually studying in. You know, will I still be eligible for postgraduate work permit after study? So Canada is making it clear, and I'm here to make it clear to you that you are still eligible for postgraduate work permit if you are already currently studying. If you are currently studying, you are still eligible. But for every other new student, everybody trying to get in now, it was announced it will take effect from September 2024. But now in the clarification, they say for new students. So as long as you are coming in new, you are not already studying, this will apply to you. You won't be able to, you won't be eligible for postgraduate work permit if you are not studying directly from a public institution without a private college, arrangement by the corner. So that's it. I just wanted to make that clear to you. Okay, but there is also a good news in postgraduate work permits, and it's for people who want to come study masters for master's degree, and who already studied, new graduates from master's degree programs, right? So before now, the way postgraduate work permit works is that if you study for 1 year, if your program is for 1 year, is determined based on just the length of the program. The length of your postgraduate work permit depends on the length of your program, your study program. But if you study for at least 2 years in a college or wherever you study, 2 years program, you'll be eligible for 3 years postgraduate work permit. So now master's students are now being included. If you studied masters for less than 2 years, it's a 1 year program. Canada is beginning to recognize that masters, people that studied masters are, they fit into the labor market of Canada. The fact that they are looking at them as people that actually, match what Canada is looking for. And then to be able to give them that benefit, you study for less than 2 years now, master's degree, you are now eligible for 3 years postgraduate work permit. So the length of study, the process of using length of study to determine postgraduate work permit is still in place. It's just that now if it is masters you decide to go for, you graduated from, you are now eligible for 3 years postgraduate work permit. So you see how it's going around. Masters, if you're here, masters, doctorate degree it now has more advantage. It now has much edge. Number one, the cap does not apply to it. Number two, they can now get 3 years postgraduate work permit after school. So you see where the trend is moving. So, lastly, is about the spousal open work permit. So before now, one of the advantage of studying in Canada is that spousal work permit. One person, one spouse studying, the other one working. So people who are here for just college programs of maybe 1 year, diploma program, graduate certificate, they're able to just get their spouse to come over. A lot of people have done that. That's how many people were able to come here with their spouses. But now, from the new announcement in place now, you can no longer get your spouse to come here if you are just studying, a graduate program, undergraduate program. You can no longer do that. The only exemption of people, the only people now eligible for spousal open work permit is if the international student that is getting you is here studying master's degree, doctorate program, or professional degrees like nursing, medicine, law, things in that area. You are still eligible. So it's very clear now. Someone who is here studying for a college program, tried to do flag polling to get the open work permit, was denied. Flag polling is where people, just move from, they're in Canada and they just try to go through US. US denies them visa administratively and they try to enter back Canada. When they do that, they're able to process their application, their work permit application quicker. So it's just granted there on the spot. So someone tried to do that now after this announcement and it was no longer possible. The person was denied. So it's only people studying master's degree, doctorate degree, or professional programs. It was made clear in the clarification announcement that was made February 5th, 2024, that no other program, if it's not a graduate, if it's not a master's degree, if it's not a doctorate degree or a professional program, no more. So all those college programs, undergraduate degrees, graduate certificate, you can no longer do spousal open work permit for your spouse following this announcement. Okay, so I hope what I've shared has helped you. And talking about provincial, the attestation letter, the provinces, the government of Canada has already mandated provinces that by 31st March they should establish a process of how to issue provincial attestation letter. It has to now accompany every new application. And remember, masters is not included. So you notice masters here and there, masters, doctorate program. So that's what to consider. And please note again for provincial attestation letter, if you have already applied, you don't need provincial attestation letter. If you already applied before January 22, 2024, you don't need attestation letter, and you don't need it. If you're already in Canada on study permit, you want another study permit, you don't need it. Your family members are already here, they don't need it because they've already crossed, right? We are here for master's degree, doctorate degree, you don't need it. The reason I'm repeating myself is so that the clarification will be very clear to you. So that's it. That's it. And so provinces to come up with what they need, how the process for getting the provincial attestation letter. So just stay informed and then know how to arrange yourself for coming to Canada. So look at the policy, see how it can benefit you, see how you adjust yourself. If he's deciding to now come here to do a master's degree or a complete professional program so that you can get your spouse along with you, good and fine. The master's program can also help you get longer postgraduate work permits, good and fine. But if you're coming here still, you want to still study in a college, make sure it's a public institution that is not a private public arrangement, so that after school, after burning all that money in school, you will still be able to get your postgraduate work permit, right? And then make sure you still get a provincial attestation letter. So these are things you need to be informed about. I wish you success in your endeavors. If you still want to come to Canada, lock your heart. Believe you can still get it. If there is a cap of 360,000, that means they have not stopped international students from coming to Canada. Some blogs say this is Nigeria. It's not Nigeria. Nigeria was not mentioned. It's international students. So you can still come to Canada. It's just that there's a cap. You can still come here to study. You can still come here to study. Just make sure you are informed and you know what you are doing, so you don't make a mistake of wasting money and then you don't get what you came for. So it's good, even if you're using an agent, be informed so that you'll be talking to the agent as somebody that has knowledge. Right? Thank you, and I wish you all the best. Please like, if this content was good to you, like it, subscribe to my channel, please share it widely, let people be informed. Thank you. See you next time on my next video.